Alrighty, we're going to be in Jeremiah chapters 40 and 41 this evening. Jeremiah 40 and 41. The next four chapters are all dealing with kind of a chronological set of events following the victory of Nebuchadnezzar. Upon the defeat by the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, there was a remnant of Jews left behind. We saw it in the previous chapter that it was really the poor and the not really much was left behind. But they're given a chance to live under the rule of the Babylonians. And we see a little bit of evidence of a little bit of fruitfulness under this time. However, due to the sin that is within the nation of Judah and the events that take place, that does not continue. We see a continuation of this sin, which only leads to more turmoil and problems for Judah. From this, what we learn from this is that that there is a truth that for the human race, there is never going to be peace until the return of, because of the sin nature that is there. Everything, even when everything is set in a way for there to be peace, because of sin, there's always going to be those that seek to upend it and ruin that. And the best example of that is when we look at the end of the millennial reign of Christ, and Satan is able to raise up the armies of the earth to fight against Christ. Of course, he loses. There's still this desire to fight Christ after giving 1,000 years of a perfect reign, which just shows the depravity of man and a continuation of these problems until sin is completely removed from this earth. So let's go ahead and have a word of prayer, and then we'll get started. Lord, I thank you for this opportunity we have to be here this evening, this chance we have to study your word, to be able to learn from it, that you would help us to listen to it, that we would be attentive, we would not allow ourselves to be distracted, but that right now we would be focused on your word, that we would be prepared to hear it, to understand it, and then to use it. Pray that you would guide and direct us in all things. In Jesus' name, amen. So we begin here, Jeremiah chapter 40, starting in verse 1. We see the new government set up in the wake of the Babylonians leaving. In chapter 40, verse 1, it says, "The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord after that Nebuzaradan," almost said Nebuchadnezzar. I was amazed. I think I made it through last week without saying Nebuchadnezzar for this man, but the first time today, and I wasn't paying attention. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had let him go from Ramah when he had taken him, being bound in chains among all that were carried away captive of Jerusalem and Judah, which were carried away captive unto Babylon. We have this chapter beginning with the word that came to Jeremiah, but we don't actually get to a message from Jeremiah until we get into chapter 42, which is what we're going to look at next week. What we have in chapters 40 and 41 is really a backstory to what leads up to the message that Jeremiah is going to give as a result of these events from the Lord. And so when we begin here, before we go much farther, I want us to go back to chapter 39 and begin in verse 11. It says, "Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, gave charge concerning Jeremiah to Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, saying, Take him and look well to him, and to do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee. So Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, sent, and Nebuchadnezzar, Rabsaris, and Nergal-sharezer, Ragmag, and the king of Babylon's princes. Even they sent and took Jeremiah out of the court of the prison and committed him unto Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, that he should carry him home. So he dwelt among the people. So we have this account that is given in chapter 39. Now, the beginning of chapter 40 gives us more details into these things that we just read. And so when we get into chapter 40, and now verse 1 as we read it, we're again looking at Jeremiah, but right now he is, in these events taking place, he's still bound, and really what it is here is, in the initial taking of the city, Jeremiah is still taken with the rest of the captives. But as we begin here in verse 2, it says, "And the captain of the guard took Jeremiah and said unto him, The Lord thy God hath pronounced this evil upon this place." And so now we see Nebuzaradan gets Jeremiah and is going to take him away from the rest and separate him out from the rest of the captives, as we saw back in 39. And so we have this more detail for it. I want us to read verse 3 as well now. It says, "And now the Lord hath brought it, and done according as he hath said, because ye have sinned against the Lord, and have not obeyed his voice, therefore this thing is come upon you." Now I want you to realize here, the person that is speaking right now is Nebuzaradan of the Babylonians. It's the one that is saying these things, and he is acknowledging here the reason for the loss on the part of Judah, the victory on the part of the Babylonians, is because of the Lord. That because of their sin, the Lord has caused them to fall. As a Gentile, most likely even a lost man that's acknowledging this. And I think this interesting here, and I do want you to notice here, in King James, when it is, this is the Lord that we're talking about here, and he's acknowledging this when those of Judah were ignoring it. Time and time again, the Lord had told them about these things and told them this is what's going to happen. We saw just recently that Jeremiah came to Zedekiah and said, "Hey, if you try and fight, if you try to flee, you're going to lose, and it's going to be worse. You need to surrender yourself to him." What did Zedekiah do? He tried to run. And so for that, his family was killed. And his eyes were gouged out. The ruler of Judah was unwilling to acknowledge the will of God, and now we have this. Now, of course, it's much easier being on the side of the victors to say this. But still, it gets interesting. We continue, look at verse 4. It says, "Now, behold, I loose thee this day from the chains which are upon thine hand. If it seem good unto thee to come with me into Babylon, come, and I will look well unto thee. But if it seem ill unto thee to come with me into Babylon, forbear. Behold, all the land is before thee, whether it is good and convenient for thee to go, thither go." Now, while he was not yet gone back, he said, "Go back also to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, whom the king of Babylon hath made governor over the cities of Judah, and dwell with him among the people, or go wheresoever it's convenient unto thee to go." So the captain of the guard gave him victuals and a reward, and let him go. And so in setting him free, we see these two different conversations that take place here. And at first, Jeremiah is given the opportunity to go back to Babylon if he so chooses, and to go with Nebuzaradan. And of course, here we see he's given this option, and he said, "And if you as well, if you want to stay behind, you can." And then when we get into verse 5, it says, "Now he has not yet gone back." So in between these two moments, Jeremiah has said, "No, I'm going to stay in my homeland." For any number of reasons that we could think of. But he says, I'm going to stay. Has told him that he's going to stay. And so he tells him, "Go to Gedaliah, the son of Achim, the son of Shaphan. He says, go to him. He's the governor. The king of Babylon has set him up. He can take care of things for you. He can give you what you need. He can protect you, as Nebuchadnezzar has said to take place. As well, he tells him, you're free to go wherever you want to. You don't have to stay in this area. You can go back. You don't have to stay with the governor here. And then he's given some supplies. He's given some money and is sent on his way. Continue, we see in verse 6, it says, Then went Jeremiah unto Gedaliah, the son of Acham, to Mizpah, and dwelt in the land. Jeremiah does, in fact, go to the same city where Gedaliah is, which is Mizpah. And so we begin here, and we see a little bit more that continues to take place here. In verse 7 it says, And now when all the captains of the forces which were in the fields, even they and their men, heard that the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah, the son of Acham, governor in the land, and had committed unto him men and women and children and the poor of the land, of them that were not carried away captive to Babylon, then they came to Gedaliah to Mizpah, even Ishmael the son of Nethaniah, and Johanan, and Jonathan the sons of Kareah, and Seraiah the son of Tanhumeth, and the sons of Ephi the Nephtophthite, and Jezaniah the son of Micaiahrite, they and their men. It makes me want to make somebody else read that. We see here that after Gedaliah is made the governor, that we have this information that's given to us of others that were scattered in the land coming to Mizpah. And the reason is because specifically that Gedaliah has been made the governor, who is a Jew. It's identified here that he is the son of Ahikam. And if you go over to Jeremiah in 26, we see this man. Jeremiah 26, 24. And one of the things that we notice about this Gedaliah is that he's the son of Ahikam, who is the son of Shaphan. So we look at chapter 26 and verse 24. It says, Nevertheless, the hand of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, was with Jeremiah, that they should not give him into the hand of the people to put him to death. So we see his father had already had a run-in with Jeremiah, was already a prevalent governor beforehand, and was one of those that had defended Jeremiah and had tried to save him. And so this is a Jew that has been set up here, one that is likely well known, especially because of his father. And if this was one of the things that likely Nebuchadnezzar was trying to do, was to prevent any other uprisings, and this is, Gedaliah is able to kind of keep things calm, and does indeed tell the people to be peaceful here. But we see that many other men, because of him, come back to Mizpah and are kind of rebuilding there with him. We see in verse 9, it says, And Gedaliah the son of Acham, the son of Shaphan, sware unto them and to their men, saying, Not to serve the Chaldeans, dwell in the land, and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be with you. And we see that he makes this request, and he tells them, he says, guys, don't fear the Babylonians, don't worry about this, just be peaceful and stay here and dwell and be fruitful in the way that this is. Don't try and cause problems here. Don't worry about them coming back and destroying it all, because I've been set up here by them. Then it says in verse 10, He says, "As for me, behold, I will dwell of Mizpah, and to serve the Chaldeans, which will come unto us. But ye gather ye wine and summer fruits and oil, and put them in your vessels, and dwell in your cities that ye have taken." And he tells them he is going to be dwelling here in Mizpah. That's where he's going to be ruling from. And this was about 8 miles from Jerusalem. If you remember, Jerusalem had been destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar. Had been nothing left of it. Mizpah was just very close to it. But he tells them as well, stay where you want to live your lives and prosper there. Verse 11, it says, "Likewise, when all the Jews were in Moab, among the Ammonites, and in Edom, and they were all the country, and that were in all the countries, heard that the king of Babylon left a remnant of Judah, they had set over them Gedaliah the son of Achim, the son of Shaphan. Even all the Jews returned out of all places whither they were driven, and came to the land of Judah, to Gedaliah, to Mizpah, and gathered much wine and summer fruits, very much." And we see not only did people come in from the immediate area, but others that were in other countries that had fled or had left are now returning again. Things are looking to be really nice. And they are beginning here to prosper in this very short time of peace. Now, look at this, verse 13. We see the problems start arising. It says, "Moreover, Johanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces that were in the fields came to Gedaliah to Mizpah, and said unto him, Dost thou certainly know that Baalis, the king of the Ammonites, hath sent Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, to slay thee? But Gedaliah, the son of Achim, believed them not." So of the group of men that had come out from the surrounding areas, well, we see one of them, Johanan, and the others, they come to Gedaliah and they come, "Hey, Ishmael has been basically hired by the king of the Ammonites to come and to kill you. And we want to warn you about this. This is going to happen. You need to be very careful." But yet Gedaliah, he doesn't think it's true. He doesn't believe them. He refuses to believe this. And so we continue. We get now. Sorry. I skipped a section. So we continue in verse 15, sorry. "Then Johanan, the son of Kareah, spoke to Gedaliah in Mizpah secretly, saying, Let me go, I pray thee, and I will slay Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and he slay thee, that all the Jews which are gathered unto thee should be scattered, and the remnant in Judah perish." Johanan comes back to Gedaliah later on and says, "Hey, give me this opportunity. I'll go and I'll kill him. And I'll do it in a way to where nobody knows that it was your doing, and that it was on your part. And what will happen here, we got some good stuff going on here. People are coming back. Things we're kind of rebuilding here. If you die, this all may be upended. And so let's protect this. Let's keep things going the way they are." He thought this was, he didn't want the rest of Judah to perish and to have nothing left. But verse 16, it says, "But Gedaliah, the son of Achim, said unto Jotham, the son of Kareah, Thou shalt not do this thing, for thou speakest falsely of Ishmael." Again, he does not believe him, does not think it true, and he ends up leading to his ultimate demise. Because now when we get into chapter 41, it says, "Now it came to pass in the 7th month, that Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, the son of Elishma, of the seed royal, and of the princes of the king, even 10 men with him, came unto Gedaliah, the son of Achim, to Mizpah, and there they did eat bread together in Mizpah." Now, in the very previous chapter, everybody that came into Mizpah with Ishmael came to Gedaliah and said, hey, he's planning to kill you. He's going to kill you. And Jotham comes again and says, hey, he's going to kill you. This is serious stuff here. We get into the very next chapter, and what do we see Gedaliah doing? Having a meal with them. Spending time with them as if they're friends. We are given this time frame here. It says that now it came to pass in the 7th month. This was not a significant amount of time later. It's believed that this couldn't have been more than a few months after Jotham comes and tells them, hey, you need to be worried about this. You need to be concerned with this. And so really shortly after this warning is given, we see them together. And we also see some motivation that Ishmael has here, in that it identifies that he is of the seed royal. They even had a bit of a claim to the throne here, which I think we're all familiar with what happens when there's somebody in power and somebody else that thinks that it should be theirs. What normally happens? Well, when one thinks it should be theirs, they come in and they take it. They at least cause a lot of problems. So we continue. Verse 2, they're eating together. And then arose Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and 10 men that were with him, and smote Gedaliah, the son of Acham, the son of Shaphan, with the sword, and slew him, whom the king of Babylon had made governor over the land. Ishmael, while they're doing that, gets up, along with 10 others, and kills them. But he doesn't just stop there with Gedaliah. We see in verse 3, it says, and Ishmael slew all the Jews that were with him, even with Gedaliah at Mizpah, and the Chaldeans that were found there, and the men of war. Basically, anybody that could have any kind of connection with Gedaliah, that could have any kind of sympathizing with him, kill him. Kill a lot of people. And we see, then verse 4, it says, and it came to pass the 2nd day after he had slain Gedaliah, and no man knew it, that there came certain from Shechem and from Shiloh and from Samaria, even 80 or 80 men, having their beards shaven, their clothes rent, having cut themselves with offerings and incense in their hand, to bring them to the house of the Lord. We see that 2 days later, that there's these 80 men that are coming, and they're coming sorrowful and mourning, and it's indicated here what they're doing is they're going to the house of the Lord, which had been destroyed, which means that they were coming to mourn the destruction of the temple. And we're very upset about this, and so they're just kind of passing by. So verse 6, it says, and Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, went forth from Mizpah to meet them, weeping all along as he went. And it came to pass, as he met them, he said unto them, come to Gedaliah, the son of Acham. And it was so, when they came into the midst of the city, that Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, slew them, and cast them into the midst of the pit, he and the men that were with him. See, he takes these and slays them. He comes up acting like he was going to mourn with them, and that he was going with them, and we see that all of these are slain and thrown in the pit, with the exception of 10. We see verse 8, it says, but 10 men were found among them that said unto Ishmael, slay us not, for we have treasures in the field of wheat, and of barley, and of oil, and of honey. So he forbare and slew them not among their brethren. And he saves 10 of them, but only because they promised to pay him off. They say, hey, we're rich men, and we can help you out here. We can pay you for it. So he spares them. For all the rest of the other 70, thrown into this pit. Verse 9 says, Now the pit wherein Ishmael had cast all the dead bodies of the men whom he had slain because of Gedaliah, was it which Asa the king had made for fear of Baasha, king of Israel. And Ishmael the son of Nethaliah filled it with them that were slain. Well, not really any information about this, except we know it was built when under the reign of King Asa, when this Baasha was was besieging Jerusalem. But we see that Ishmael fills this pit up with the people that he killed. Now, it's very easily this could be over 100 people, because he killed these 70 men, and if they killed these 70 and they killed everybody else that could possibly have any connection to Gedaliah in Mizpah, and so there's probably not many, at least over 100 here that he's killed and just thrown into a pit. Only the people. Too, showing a thirst for blood that he has. Killing these others that were just passing by. But he was trying to keep everything a secret, even. It still is quite a jump to go get these that aren't even coming into the city that he was at. Verse 10, it says, Then Ishmael carried away captive all the residue of the people that were in Mizpah, even the king's daughters, and all the people that remained in Mizpah, whom Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had committed to Gedaliah, the son of Achim, and Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, carried them away captive and departed to go over to the Ammonites. He in turn goes and takes all those in Mizpah captive and seeks to take them to the Ammonites. Verse 11, But when Johanan the son of Kara and all the captains of the forces that were with him heard of all the evil that Ishmael the son of Nethaniah had done, then they took all the men and went to fight with Ishmael the son of Nethaniah, and found him by the great waters that are in Gibeon. Johanan hears about this evil that has been done, and he gathers up all the men that he can to go after Ishmael. And he catches up to him in Gibeon, which wasn't too far away. And then verse 13, it says, Now when it came to pass that when all the people which were with Ishmael saw Johanan, the son of Kara, and all the captains of the forces that were with him, then they were glad. So all the people that Ishmael had carried away captive from Mizpah cast about and returned and went unto Johanan, the son of Kara. Upon seeing Johanan coming, they all rebel and go back with him or run to him for the protection to be saved. In verse 15 it says, But Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, escaped from Johanan with 8 men and went to the Ammonites. Ishmael and 8 of his 10 men survive and are continue on their way, having lost. Now, it may seem that Johanan, the people whom he had recovered from Ishmael the son of Nethaniah from Mizpah, after he had slain Gedaliah the son of Achim, even mighty men of war, and the women and the children, the eunuchs whom he had brought against from Gibeon. And they departed and dwelt in the habitation of Chittim, which is by Bethlehem, to go to enter into Egypt. We see that his plan here is to, they're camping here with the intention of going on to Egypt, which, as we're going to continue to see next week in the following chapters, this is not a good plan. It's against the will of God. It's not something that is desired. But they do it in verse 18 because of the Chaldeans, for they are afraid of them, because Ishmael the son of Nethaniah had slain Gedaliah the son of Achim, whom the king of Babylon made governor in the land. The reason he does it is because of fear of man instead of fear Do we have